and welcome back to the show. We're going to do another boating tip right now, and we're going to talk about the basics of boating, and today, power, tilt and trim. Now, as you know, when you drive a car, you have an accelerator, a brake, a steering wheel, a clutch pedal, a gearbox. You've got a whole gamut of things you need to know to drive a car, and we all take that for granted. Well, a boat is even far more simpler than that. And on the average family boat, we have a steering wheel, a throttle control with forward and reverse, and the only other really thing you need to know for the basics of boating is on the throttle control we have a little button called the power, tilt and trim button. What does it mean? Okay, when you hit that button down or up, you will activate two motors under the engine here. The tilt ram, which is this big one here, it's not as powerful, and you have the two little rams here. These are very powerful and they're called the trim rams. And basically there's two parts to the name, tilt and trim. As you go down, that big ram is fast. Bang. Okay, that's your tilt ram. You don't drive a boat out on the water using tilt. That's basically for getting it up and down on the trailer to take it home. The next phase is when the two rams come into play, and they're slow and very, very powerful. And that gives us the fine tuning we need to get the optimum performance out of our boat. Obviously, the harder we trim a motor in, the more attitude nose down we can give the boat. The further we trim it out, the more attitude up we can give the nose of the boat. So that is the basics of what it is. Let's take you out in the water now and show you how it works and what it does to the boat. So there you go, you trim it in, you punch the throttle down, and you get her up on the plane. Once you're up on the plane, you then back the throttle off to the speed you want to travel, and then it's a matter of just tuning the trim to suit the conditions and the load on the boat. So what are the right trims for the right seas? Let's have a talk to Matt.
On a glass calm day like today, when you want to go flat out and get the best out of your boat with the best fuel efficiency, the trick is to trim it out as much as possible just until you reach that point of cavitation. Give it a couple of notches on the trim down and you will be at your perfect height of trim. General rule of thumb, and this is a general rule, you want the spray from your hull coming out at about your control box or behind. That way you're not dragging the nose of the boat through the water and using more fuel than you should be.
It is a glass calm day and we want to go flat out, so knock the throttle down, mate. We hit the throttle down hard and then we trim that motor up as high as possible. Soon we'll hear it sort of prop slip. We've gone too far, we come back, and that is getting maximum speed out of this boat, and she's flying. Now, it's a glass calm day and you can actually see what happens when you lift the nose up out of the water. The boat clears the water, you get better fuel economy, faster top speed, because there's less resistance on the water with the hull barging through the water. If you were to trim the motor down, what would happen is you would force the nose of the boat through the water and create a lot more resistance on the hull, and that causes more friction and more damage on your fuel bill because you're creating a lot more load on the motor.